Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday. Well, it is currently Tuesday. It may not be Tuesday by the time you watch this. I always have to paraphrase. I always have to preface, when I say what day it is, because, days are always changing, and might not be watching this on the same day that I'm doing it, and you might even be watching it in another country where it's already another day. What day is it over where you are? Christ. Oh, man. I don't purposely come up with some type of way to be distracted right from the get-go of my shows, but I mean, it is what it is, because that's what we do here on Operation Status Quo. It's funny because we talk about here all the time, and I always say this is the place to observe the status quo of life, to learn to flow with the status quo of life, and then create our own flow of quo. And yet I have so many distractions, and it's like the ADD flow of quo, It's like, oh my gosh, how can you ever, with as much ADD, I don't really say I'm ADD, but in some capacity, the way I'm all over the place, maybe I am, I really don't know, never been tested. But anyway, with all that going on, how can we ever establish what a status quo actually is? I'm Pete Palma, by the way. Hello and welcome once again to Operation Status Quo. Thanks for being with me here on another beautiful day, ladies and gentlemen. I like to say how beautiful every day is, because every day is beautiful as long as you choose to believe it. And I'm not one of those guys that thinks everything's hunky-dory all the time. I like to speak in a positive manner of encouragement and such, and like just enjoying life the best we can. But we all have trials and tribulations and circumstances that are going on for all of us, right? So I mean, the point I'm saying is why not just keep a smile on your face while it's all going on, and just deal with what's happening, because we're gonna have to deal with it either way, right? So we might as well smile and find the space within us to be the best person that we can be, and to mitigate the circumstances that are happening in the world around us. That pretty much encompasses what Operation Status Quo is in a nutshell. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, and generally it's just me rambling and saying a whole bunch of stuff because that's what I like to do, and I think it's fun, and I hope you enjoy it. I think you do, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't put yourself through this, and I appreciate it, because I love you guys out there. I'm going to say it at the beginning today. I love you individually as well as a group. You know that, how important you are, because I'm a man of the people, and you're the people. We're all people together. I haven't said I'm a man of the people in a while, so I had to remind myself today. I'm a man of the people, and you're the people, and we're all people together. I'm a man of the people for now, unless I decide tomorrow to wake up and change my attachment, for lack of better phraseology or whatever, my attachment to my physical demeanor, whatever. Maybe tomorrow I decide I want to be something else. I'd like to, if I was going to change myself into something. I'm sorry, I don't know where this came from. I just got all these random thoughts all of a sudden. That's what happens when I turn the microphone on. I'm always ready to go, and then I turn the microphone on, and all random thoughts come in. It's like a real crazy thing. It must be some frequency in here that's just like, zapping my brain. Where is that? I know I hear it. It's like, that's kind of the frequency that comes through the microphone that zaps at my brain. If I was going to change my status as a human to another type of, I think I would become a Jack in the Box. I'd be like, have to be a Pete in the Box, because I'm not Jack. But I'd be a Jack in the Box. I identify as a Jack in the Box. Hey-o. I only need half a body, right? I only need my waist, basically, because the whole jack, and the rest of me stuffed, and the rest of me is a box, It kind of could be. I can be half car, half human. I could put some wheels on the bottom of the box, and somebody can put a string on the front and drag me down the street. I mean, that'd be great. Or I can just have ski poles, and if my box is on the wheels, I can move like this. That would be cool too, right? I don't know. I'm a thinker, Oh my gosh. All right. Seriously, can we do something that is relevant here? I mean, quite honestly, I would like to know this. You can put it in the comments below. For those of you that watch regularly and suffer through all of my, tangents and directions and such, what is it about that, do you like that more? Or would you like me to actually just have some notes and do a point? It's just stay on one point, everybody else does on YouTube. They basically just have a show and a point, and they just keep saying the same stuff. I mean, I'd say the same stuff too, but I just mean a subject, one solid topic. I don't know if I could do it. I like all topics. That's why we do what we do here on Operation Status Quo. But anyway, I hope it's bringing a smile to your face. Even this mental disarray that I have going on here, I hope that that brings you some sort of pleasure and joy, because that's what it is for me. For me, my mental dysfunction is a space for you to find pleasure and joy. Really, I really should make that the crux of the show. All right, here we go. So today, ladies and gentlemen, is the 7th of November in the good year 2023, and today's program is entitled "Name That Vibe." That's right, because I've spoken on this before about our frequencies. Well, let me just take a step back. I've spoken on this before in regard to the belief and my belief personally, and I going into quantum physics and everything else, but I'm not going down all those deep rabbit holes. Just plain and simple that we are energetic expressions beyond our physical embodiment, right? So that's the funny thing is, if we can all kind of just get that one little piece together down, wouldn't it make the life so much easier? I mean, that's the whole point of why I always say, hey, we're going to go through things in this physical world, but let's do it with a smile on our face, because when you come from that space of just immediately first thought is, listen, it doesn't even matter, right? I'm Pete, you're whoever out there today, how you doing, by the way? And at the end of the day, we're more than that. We're energy, we're frequency, we're vibration, and just the physicalness and the hardness, whatever you want to say, of the 3D, is more so of the because those energies and vibrations are so dense and slowly moving that it seems this solid, but in reality there is nothing that is actually solid. It's all vibrations, frequencies, and such. So when I was by the way, let me say this leads into my story. I mentioned yesterday that I was a little tired. Obviously you could tell I'm feeling a little bit better today, right? I'm a little more zipped up, zippity doo dah, zippity yay. And anyway, for those of you that were concerned yesterday, because I talked about maybe not going for my little swim in the pool because it was a little cool, I did go a little later in the afternoon, and it was nice, actually. The sun, as long as the sun's out down here, even though the water is kind of cold, I'm in a pool, in my community. It's not heated, right? So it is what it is with that. If I really wanted to keep swimming through the winter, I guess I'd have to go find, a heated pool, because eventually I would think it might be too cold to do this. But I don't know what it is about this swimming, especially since I moved to Florida. I just feel like it's not an obligation, but why not swim every day if you could? I don't know. I just love being in the water overall, whether it be the ocean or the bay down here or the Gulf, whatever. I love being in the water. So, and the pool's the most convenient thing to hop over every day and get in there and do a little swim. I find it very relaxing, very meditative. Whatever works for you, I would encourage you to find what works for you. It is relaxing and meditative, and to kind of brings up your spirits and revitalizes you, and you can put that into your daily practice, which would be a wonderful thing, right? So anyway, I did swim yesterday. It was a little chilly, but that cold water zipped me back up, or maybe it dumbed me down just a little bit more. One or the other. You decide. Let me know in the comments. I appreciate it. I do. Be gentle. I understand, but I appreciate your honesty. Anyway, and so I did do that yesterday, and I went back today and did my swim today as well. So for those of you that may have been worried that I'm missing time in the pool, fear not, my friends. I'm making sure that I get my little dipsy doodle in. So today when I was there, and this is one of the reasons, again, saying that I like to swim so much, because it's very reflective to me as far as, just mentally, meditatively, again, So after I was done my swimming, I lay out in the sun a little bit to, dry off, and I'm just looking at the palm trees, swaying a little bit, and the sun's shining. And, it really kind of, and this is exactly where this show came from today, because it was a nice little space of quiet, that present moment space where you're just there with your head's kind of empty. You're just kind of, just admiring the beauty of the outside, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just admiring that, and that thought that I have talked about here before kind of rushed into my head as far as, remembering about, it really doesn't matter whatever's, going on in the world overall at any time in the matter of human existence. I mean, the only thing that really matters is what you put forth, right? If we want to look at all of ourselves, each of ourselves is like a candle or something, right? You want to have the best flame you can have of your candle burning, to put forth out into, into the ethers, as it were, because, again, going back to everything being energy and frequency, what we align ourselves with, what we focus our attention on, what we put our time and energy into, just our self-talk, all this type of stuff plays into, the frequency and the vibration at which, we exist in our life. So, I mean, obviously we see what's going on in the world. And I know yesterday was going on all this about the truths and stuff, and our true truths not, being told. And, I don't think it was that heavy, but, overall, and I just, as a reminder to myself, because I go through, look, we're all going through what we're going through now is in the shift in our, day-to-day life, and our shift in just the functionality of our world, the shift in our consciousness, the shift in our realization of all our relationships, and, just so many levels of things and different ways of thinking, and, just so much happening, so quickly. And, with that going on, even for myself personally, I have, ideas of what I see moving forward in the future, and how I'd like to position myself in my life, and what I want to do with my finances, or my this or my that, right? We all have all those thoughts. And today, again, was a good reminder of to let go of worry, in a sense, let go of attachment to outcomes. That's really the truth. That's really, just as I'm saying, let go of the outcome, the attachment to outcomes, because if you're sitting there holding on to, waiting for a certain thing to happen so that you can do, the next thing. And I'm saying this to myself too, because I limit myself. I say, okay, well, we're still kind of going through this, and maybe, I think this will be happening kind of, or this is going to pop up, and, things will change in this regard, and you'll be able to do this. And yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, everything's always, ebbs and flows and pieces moving, right, in life. So one thing is always going to lead to another thing. It's going to open up opportunities in different ways and close opportunities in other ways, and so on and so forth. But ultimately, it's always about the present moment, right? It's always about the present moment and the here and now, and not about looking at waiting for, will there be world peace, or, will, whatever. Will they, come out with some kind of truths about, our history of humanity, and, how society's being oppressed in so many ways, and blah, blah, blah. And does it even matter? Does it even matter, right? Just philosophically speaking, in a sense, I mean, morality and our social structure may be a little different than, does it really even, and what I'm saying is, it goes back to when I talk about A Course in Miracles, and I've talked about that multiple times. And what I love so much about that teaching is that it basically talks about that, letting go of attachment and realizing that everything within our perceived existence ultimately is, a dream. And it's not to dismiss, what goes on, but I mean, it's a dream in the sense of even when I was talking yesterday a little bit with some of the truth stuff, and I mentioned the simulation theory and such, is are we living in a simulation? And that's why I say, I'm the first one to say that we're creators, and all that, and, manifestors, of what we want in our life, which is true, but it's also true in the regard of, going back to what I'm saying about the energies and the frequencies and such. If you're vibing at a certain frequency and that's where you're resonating, then it's going to bring this section of, say, for the lack of a better term, the simulation into, effect in your life. Because ultimately it is all a simulation no matter what, because as I said yesterday, and it's how it kind of, ties in, is, that the ultimate truth is just the one present moment, of no thought, no space, no time, no, just true, just that one. However, I don't even know how to put it into words, because what do I know? I'm a human right now, but we all have connection to that other side, right? We all know we have connection to that other side. Just, inherently in our, in our human way, we think about it. For as much as they want to teach us everything that the world's some crazy that just happened, and we're here floating in space all by ourselves, and we can be hit by an asteroid at any moment and be wiped out, and do. I mean, for all of the overall fear mongering and minimalization of our existence in a sense, right? Aside from all that, we still have this, and even with the manipulation of religions, and I spoke on a little bit yesterday, the ancient texts. I mentioned that, but I didn't mention yesterday, that's where a lot of our mainstream religions come from excerpts of ancient texts that tell, a bigger truth. But, that's a whole nother story, but, oh, I shouldn't have said that, because that threw me off. This would be great if I had people in the chat, because then if you were in the chat, you can remind me what I was saying just before I got off tangent. But no, I was saying about the simulation, and what we pick is, what comes to fruition in a sense. And oh man, I totally lost it there. See, that's the problem. That's the problem with my brain. If I need like a teleprompter, I guess I need a teleprompter, or I need, what I need, something that as I'm speaking, the words show up, right, and I can see it. This way, I can go back and remember where I was. That would be the best thing. That's what I got to do. I got to put closed caption on or something while I'm doing it, so maybe I can actually see the words I'm saying live. But I was basically about Course in Miracles and not attachment, and ultimately, the world's playing out, whatever the world is going to play out. It's always going to be this way. I've just said there's always going to be, good times, bad times. I had my share. So, it's always going to be that way no matter what. So it really is up to us to choose and what we place our attention and, and our focus on. And to try to wrap things back up, I'm saying, like, I know I was speaking on even myself worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow for what you do, what's going to happen next before you make your next plan. And the thing is, like, we shouldn't live in fear of anything, of, if we tune in, right? Like, resonate. I mean, not to do anything crazy in our lives, like, not thinking things through, but if we really just tuned in and really had that faith. Oh, that's what I was saying. Now I remember. Now I was saying, but if we really tuned in and had that faith, it would give back to us if we lived our lives truly believing and aligning with it. It would give back. It would be so abundant. And I say it to myself, I wish I could let go in certain ways of certain things, because I feel like there would be so much more abundance. But, as a human, I still have my ways, and, I still, I don't want to quite make that move. I don't want to quite make that move. And, it's, anyway, but I was saying inherent in all humans. That's what I was saying before when I got off my topic and I forgot. Is no matter what, no matter how much they try to scare us, how crazy the world seems, and whatever misguided truths we may have about our history, origins, existence, and such. But think about it this way: we still always know. However, if it's framed for you, however it resonates with you, but we always have something. We do always look outside, right? We look for a higher, not say outside, but look for a higher power, whether it be God, whether you think it's your higher self, whether it's your angels, whether it's passed over loved ones, whatever the case may be. So, think about that. Think about that we have that basic vibe, if you want to use that word, since today's program is Name That Vibe. We all have that basic vibe that no matter what, like, we already know there's something more, right? Like we know, even though we don't understand, we know we get little signs from loved ones or anything on the other side. We get little, symbolic things, or, just things that just work out in the proper time, in our lives. It'll happen, randomly, that we think is, but that's what I'm trying to say is, like, when you think about that, we know this already, that there's this higher, there's this other, there's this more, there's this beyond, and yet we still focus so much. And it's not a fault. It's not like to put people down or anything, even myself, right? I mean, that's part of the experience of being embodied, right? So it's part of having an ego and such. There's always going to be this level of you got to hold on, to what's here. But we already know, like, expansively, within ourselves, we can feel that there's so much more. And yet, think about how, just think about this, think about that we know that, like, that in your heart in a way, right? So maybe some people don't, if they really don't believe in anything. I don't know what, to speak on that, but I don't know how you can't ultimately believe it. Even people, I think, that don't believe, are talking to somebody, even if you're talking in your head to yourself, you're talking to, like, your higher self, you're talking to somebody, you know what I mean? So whether you realize it or not, these thoughts are going out there. And if we, that's just another example of, like, how we talk all the time here on Operation Status Quo, of, like, our mainstream world just being total bullshit. Just the from what I said at the beginning, just the knowing that, we're energetic beings having a physical experience, just that, and then our inherent knowledge of, speaking to the other side, looking to God, looking to higher power. Just that the fact that those two items exist in itself is like all the proof you need of the fact that our world is totally a lie and misguiding population and everything else. Because there's with those two fundamental things, there's absolutely no way we'd have war. We wouldn't be poisoning, our planet. We wouldn't be making fake food to serve to people, and all the stuff that I always talk about, the pharmaceutical companies, even our monetary way of being, like so much pressure on people just to make a living. And then you got, once you're making money, you got to show that you got money. And the way you show money is to have a bunch of products that you don't need and expensive shit that don't mean shit, that just weighs you down, right? So, I think I talked it out myself pretty good. I didn't realize that, everything's really, how much of a lie, everything is. And the truth is, and just to round it out here, because the point of today's show is about not focusing on that stuff, right? I mean, it's great to realize it. And that's the point of Operation Status Quo. We observe the status quo. So you're seeing what's going on. And then you say, okay, this is the world today. I have to live in this world, right? So we flow with the quo to a degree, and then we create our own flow of quo. I mean, I know this is like simple math. This should be taught in all schools. I think I've really got maybe I should create like a plan, like a curriculum, that Operation Status Quo, the curriculum, and I can put it out there for people to understand. But it's why you creating your own flow is really just is being honest with yourself and living true to your heart. We're not always going to be, happy-go-lucky, kicking jelly beans down the street or something. I don't know. It's just not going to happen. Yesterday, I was really tired. I wasn't even I'm surprised I even did the show. So I really didn't have anything in me, and I felt like I was staring at the camera but I know deep inside that that's just a day. It's just a day, and that's just a phase of a mood or whatever. And, but bigger than that is you beautiful people out there that I can't let you down. And that's why I'm here, because I love you. I do, it's true. I love you so true. I do. Hey-o. I don't know, but... it's really something. I love this YouTube crap. It's really fun. And again, by the way, before I wrap it up here, yesterday my video had 10 views, and then when I went back to it earlier today, it was down to 0 views again, no views, and then it went back up to 2 views, but I do have 4 likes. So thank you guys out there for the likes. I got more likes than views. I don't know how it works. It's so funny, man, the way the algorithms, I don't know, whatever they're doing. Heyo. To little old nobody like me, but I'm not a nobody. They know that. They know because I'm speaking from my heart, and everything I'm saying, is like what I say. I really kind of believe. I don't think I'm anything of anything, but I do feel it's encouraging, and it could put a smile on your face, and I really it's just true. To give people hope and perspective in a sense of hey, listen, this is what's going on, but we still can choose how we perceive and how we move forward and what we do. And that's it. I mean, it's really as simple as that. So, you got to keep your vibe high, and it's not about forcing anything and just pretending either. Don't do any of that, spiritual, whatever the frig they call it, where you just oh, everything's, I'm a perfect I just go with the energy. I don't pay attention to this. I mean, you got to pay attention to what's going on in the world. If there wasn't a purpose to at least be aware of what's happening, you don't have to be engrossed in watching news all day or anything. But, it's important to know what's going on in a sense, so you understand your fellow man and what's happening. So, you're here in this life, to be engaged. So be engaged, but, space is important too. The other thing, that non-attachment to the outcome. That would be the biggest 3 things. So I'm going to leave it with this. The biggest 3 things, that's like a 3-part takeaway here, is the realization that we are spiritual beings having a physical physical experience, right? The realization that we have this inherent nature to communicate with a power that we feel is higher and outside of ourselves, more so, whatever, the wholeness, the oneness, whatever you want to call it, and non-attachment to outcomes. If we can just like get those three things down, I think we really could have, a pretty good world. And I think the world is going crazy, like I always say, because there's so much more realization. And the truth is, we're not living true, like, humanity in general, even for the people who are totally unaware of anything, or people that are even really mean or bad people, if you want to, label them as such. The truth is, it's just because the energy is so low, right? There's not enough positive vibe out there for, to bring others up. And the world's been created to keep like a negative energy. So it makes, people subconsciously are going crazy, right? They're just going crazy because they don't know what to do. They're trying to live within the confines of a system that's not designed to bring, benefit. And no matter how hard you work, no matter what you do, you can get married, you lose your spouse, or, you lose your job, now you lose your house, and then you lose your spouse, whatever. It's just, and people want to become like drug addicts and everything else, alcoholics. I mean, no disrespect, but I'm saying this is, all these type of things are, I think, more so to speak to the idea that, our world is not designed to bring forth our best. And that's why it's up to us, each and every one of us as individuals, to be aware of this type of thought process and to bring the best out in ourselves. And then and you don't have to do anything. That's the other point that I really will end with this. That was the other point I really wanted to make today too, is like, because I think about how try to do this, try to do that. And sometimes you have to just remind yourself, there's nothing that you have to do per se. I mean, you do what you got to do. Everybody's got to do things. I don't mean it, but, you don't have to be like any grand thing. You don't have to start some whole company, or I don't know, you don't have to do anything grand. If you just really are vibing at a frequency, a high vibration, you're doing your part, right? Because that energy is contagious. It's in the world, and the more people that think that way, that energy would just create the world around us. So it's not about having to prove anything or get go over the top crazy on whatever. It's just really about being centered and keeping that positive vibration within yourself, and just always bringing yourself back to presence and the moment and gratefulness and gratitude and all that. And the world will become a better place on its own, and we can relax, and you guys can come swimming with me. Come on down to Florida and come swimming with me. Maybe I should have a swim with Pete in the pool contest. Who wants to be flown first class from your location to Pete's location to swim in the pool, only to be flown home the same day? Hey-o. You will not be allowed to speak with Pete. You will not be allowed to look at Pete. You will not be allowed to talk to Pete, but you will be allowed to swim with Pete. Oh my gosh. All right, seriously, that's it for today. I love you guys out there. I do, individually as well as a group, as I said in the beginning, and I'm saying it again because it really is that important. If you haven't done so already, please take the time to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. God bless each and every one of you out there, ladies and gentlemen. Until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.
Boulevard of 10 short blocks.